StreamYard. And we are live. Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. I'm your host. This is ATW All Things Wrestling Podcast, episode number 5. I'm Tony Twist. Today, we have a special co-host. The sports mouth of the 313, Alex Melendres, is out and under the weather. So we are joined today by the pro from the Pro Wrestling Podcast. How you doing, man?
How's it going, everybody? And I'm doing pretty good, man. Pretty good. Waking up this morning to a bunch of new things coming up. Full Gear was last night, as you know, and
Absolutely.
I'm pretty happy to talk about it today.
Let's get into it, man. I'm ready to get into it. I mean, it was a hell of a pay-per-view with AEW, and I guess let's start there. So, man, where do we begin? I mean, match of the night, main event, title change. If you're joining us, we're live on Facebook, All Things Wrestling Podcast, ATW. We are live on Instagram. If you're on Instagram.
Hello?
Hey, we're back. Are you there?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know what's going on. StreamYard is not liking me this morning. The co-host, Alex, is out, and he must be putting a hex on us because we're having some technical difficulties. But it's all good. We're back. Here we go. Take 3. All right. So AEW Full Gear, man. Overall thoughts of the show. What'd you think?
I thought it was, as far as all the matches go, I thought all of them were paced like perfectly. Like nothing felt rushed, nothing felt out of place. So all in all, really good pay-per-view. I would have to say it's a solid pay-per-view.
If you gave it a rating, what's the rating? What are we giving it? I mean, it looked like it was going to be a jam-packed show from start to finish, right?
I know. Yeah, the card was just crazy from the jump. Like as soon as you saw that card, you're like, you knew it was going to be just an amazing show. I mean, if I were to rate it, I would give it about maybe an 8.5 out of 10 if that's how we're rating things. But
it's your world, man. However you want to rate
it. But yeah, I'm just saying, like, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. I did not, I was telling you while we were off air, I did not catch the buy-in, so I can't really judge that. But the overall pay-per-view, decent.
Well, let's start with the main event, man. Why not? Hangman Page is your new AEW World Champion. Any surprise there?
Cowboy shit, baby. No, not really. I think everybody knew it was going to happen, and if it didn't happen, I'm pretty sure Minneapolis would have been upset. And but I'm so happy how it happened, how it transitioned. I mean, that's just long-term storytelling in a nutshell, right there. That's right. How you do long-term storytelling.
You mean not like a year straight of the same shit over and over again, or
exactly. Yeah, you know where I'm going with this.
How do we want to define long-term storytelling, or is it just beating something to death? I mean, we got to distinguish that, right? Because I think AEW has found a really good formula when it comes to doing this. Because when you think of AEW, you don't really think of the storylines and the drama like in WWE. But they do it differently. So let's get your take on that and why you think that was kind of a successful thing. And why it kind of came to a head, at Full Gear.
I think it just happened successfully because of mainly because of the fans. I feel like AEW, like you were saying, AEW, if you pay attention, you get rewarded. So it's just like it was such successful because the fans are just so behind AEW, and they pace it so well. They don't like give you like these stupid like tag matches or like where they coexist, like shit like that. And I mean, they take what happens like years prior before AEW was even a thing and put it in a storyline sometimes, and they just add the AEW element to it, and it's just perfect. Like, obviously they've had a history and everybody knows about it. They don't pretend that it didn't happen like WWE does, where anything they've done before WWE just never existed. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So there was just this, like, if we're talking long-term storytelling, I mean, this thing has been going on for years, not just 2 years. And everybody was behind cowboy shit, man. I mean, that's my take on it. It was just that's what they've been doing since they started. Is and I hope they continue doing it.
Yeah, I mean the main event, man. I mean that match. There was no lulls. There was no down spots. I mean, it was like just high impact, just boom, hit him.
And you know what got me? What really got me, like send chills down my fucking spine, my hair standing up, was the fact that the Young Bucks came out, and you're thinking like they're gonna interfere. No, they were just giving them a nod to win it. I mean, that's just so fucking cool, man.
Last week, Alex and I kind of talked about it, and I had made maybe a prediction. The way they're kind of doing with the Elite and the Super Click and all that, it looks like they're kind of pushing Kenny Omega out.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of, Adam Cole being the guy, maybe they start a feud with Adam Cole and Kenny Omega. I would have loved to have seen that. When I saw that last night, I was like, oh shit, Adam Cole's going to come interfere, cost Omega the match, and then maybe Hangman wins. I was thinking something that way, but the way they did that too, I think went off pretty well. So we'll see how that plays over into Dynamite coming up on Wednesday. Kenny Omega being like, what the hell, you guys didn't have my back, whatever the case may be. So I'm curious to see where this is going to go, who's going to be feuding with who. AEW is exciting, man. They're the thing going right now. I mean,
that's
WWE,
what was missing.
WWE, you don't even have to watch it for like a month, and you know exactly what's happening when you turn that shit back on. So, but hey, you know what? I'm gonna interrupt for just a moment because we actually have a special guest. Actually, our first guest of ATW All Things Wrestling Podcast. It is Miss Reign The Stallion Rivers, and she is coming out of the Nightmare Factory in Georgia. If you're not familiar with the Nightmare Factory, we're going to bring her on. She's going to tell us all about her, all about what she's doing, what's going on with her. So let's go ahead and let's have her join us. I'm going to go ahead and change this here because I've not done this with the multi-screens going on. So here we go. Let's go ahead and bring her in. Good morning. Can you hear us? Oh, I think your mic. Okay, there we go. I unmuted her mic.
Okay.
Can't unmute. Okay, here we go. Okay.
There it is.
She might be having, I think we're just kind of having technical difficulties along the board this morning, but that's all right.
Okay. Is it working now though?
I can hear you now. How are you doing today?
Man, I'm doing amazing. How are you?
Good. So, Miss Reign Rivers, Reign The Stallion Rivers.
The Stallion, baby. What's up?
You are our official first guest on ATW All Things Wrestling Podcast. No takeaway there from the Pro Wrestling Podcast, but he's acting as the co-host today, so he's not officially the first guest. So you are the first guest. Tell us all about what's going on in your world and what you're doing. And hey, the Nightmare Factory. We want to hear all about you, Miss Rivers. What's going on?
Okay, wow, that's like so broad because like there's so much going on. So if you,
she's like, how much time you got?
Yeah.
How much time you got? We got a lot of time. Take your time. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, Y'all know my name. It's Reign The Stallion Rivers. Yeah, I'm at the Nightmare Factory. I've been there for like 4 years now. And I just started getting out on the indie scene. I've had 7 matches now, and I'm really kind of living my best life and decided to start my own promotion.
Okay.
So I have a promotion called Rowdy Entertainment Wrestling that's gonna debut January 22nd, 2022.
Is this an exclusive? Are we hearing it here first?
You're hearing it here first. Well, they heard it on my page first, but second first, you know?
Okay.
Yes. So January 22nd, 2022, Rowdy Entertainment Wrestling. I actually have a great talent lineup of people who have actually been on AEW already. So
wow. Well, I want to hear all about this. I mean, we were just talking about AEW Full Gear. I don't know if you caught it last night. It was an amazing show. Bits and pieces. Well, I want to get your take on it too. But yeah, I want to hear all about this Rowdy Entertainment. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, one of the great talents that we're gonna have on the show who was just on AEW Dark, was Miss Shalance Royale, and she went with Red Velvet. I like to call her Eat 'em Up. You was on my live earlier, so I call her Miss Eat 'em Up because she's just super adorable. I could probably just munch her in one bite. So. But yeah, I got Shalance is gonna be on there. The bodyguard, who was also Austin Green, who was also on AEW. He went with help me with names. I'm so bad with them.
Come on, bro. What you got?
Big guy, like shaved head on the side with the ponytail, kind of man bun.
I can't.
Joey Janela?
Caesar Bononi?
No, not Caesar, not him. He doesn't have the man bun.
Doesn't have the man bun. When you say man bun, that describes many guys right now.
You said big guy. Yeah.
Right.
Big guy, man bun, beard. Does he have a beard? I mean, then you're talking about every guy right now going.
Yeah. Wardlow?
Right. Well,
Wardlow.
Way,
Is it Wardlow?
It was a great match, but it's gonna be Austin Green. He's going to be in the match. I've got a great lineup. You can see the card. I posted it on my my Instagram, but it's just something that I really, really want to do. Like, I'm super green. I didn't grow up watching wrestling. When I first started training, I didn't know who anybody was. And everybody kind of just looked at me kind of cockeyed, like, what? But you fall in love with something. When you fall in love with it, you can't help it, right?
So what inspired you, if you weren't a wrestling fan growing up and you didn't really know the people and this and that, what inspired you to take up pro wrestling?
Well, a couple of things. It was a combination of things. The first thing being, I have anger management issues. So I need some place for that to go. So that led me into the gym. And then I got into the gym and I was tired of picking shit up and putting it down. And I was like, I want to smash some shit. And then go on Google, what can muscular girls do to smash shit? Wrestling. That's how I found it. Honestly. So, and I fell in love with it as soon as I did. And I mean, I know that it's not ideal, like, especially like on podcasts and stuff like that, especially when it's like everything wrestling. I don't honestly know everything wrestling. I'm growing, I'm learning, but in the process, I have my own backstory of things. Like, I've run my own business for the past 10 years. So when I come into wrestling and I see such a great art happening in front of me, and then I take all of the things that I have in my own personal experience of having my own successful business for the last 10 years. Well, I want to do this, but I want to do it my way. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's how you got to do it right? If you can't, you get to do it how you want to do it, you got to do it your way.
Yep.
Pretty much. And don't get me wrong, I love all the experiences that I'm gaining from being on these different promotions. Like, I was just in Miami. I did Reefer Mania for FBW.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, cool.
With I had Reggie Rhythm. So, and then I had a match. What was the match before that? I have such like ADD. I forget things like instantly.
Same.
I do want to know more about Reefer Mania because I only recently discovered this. Can you tell us exactly? I mean, maybe, hey, Pro, maybe you know, but enlighten us about Reefer Mania.
Well, it is exactly what it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So if you think reefer and you think fucking mania, put them together. Okay. And then you have this awesome show of, you know, a bunch of different vendors basically showing their product. And
Yeah.
lots of clouds in the air.
Yeah.
You know?
It's the best 2 W's.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Weed and wrestling. Wow. Man, that could be a new name of a podcast. Weed and wrestling. That would be interesting.
Listen,
there's something out there.
It was packed out the entire day. We had 15 matches and it was packed out the entire day. So it was really, really cool. Like I had a really great time. I went to, you know, I was in Miami, so of course I found other things to do too. You know what I mean?
Not a boring town at all, right?
No. I go to Miami and I wild out a little bit.
Yeah,
well, I know if I was at that event, I mean, honestly, I think I would probably come out on the mic and I think I would say this right here.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
If you don't know that sound clip, that's from an amazing movie called The Warriors and maybe one of my best or favorite sound bites of all time. So I've always wanted to come out on the mic and say that somewhere in front of a large group of people.
Hey, listen, just do it. Find somebody who's gonna give you a mic, or even don't just go up with somebody with a mic. Be like, hey, let me hold that real quick.
So I have a question.
What's up?
The name Reign the Stallion. What was that? What was that inspired by? Is this something you made up on the fly, or is there a backstory behind that?
There's always a backstory.
Okay.
It's the best things. The most interesting things come from a place of realness. So, in terms of Reign Rivers, so my last name, my mom told me that when she was pregnant with me, she had a dream about a river, and it was my government name, which I'm not going to give out. Right. But it was a river in a dream, and that's how she came to name me. And so that's where Rivers comes from. And rain being, you know, of course, that correlation with water. But ultimately, you know, most people, when they meet me, they know kind of immediately that I'm a little off, and I kind of tower over people just off rip. So, you know, I reign over things. You know, I reign over the things that I see. I see y'all. Y'all see me, and I see all of y'all. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And it's the stallion, baby. Hey. So,
how tall are you? Because I've seen some of your clips, and I'm like, wow, she really does tower over some women.
I'm 6 feet tall.
6 feet.
6 feet. Wow.
Yeah, that's like another woman wrestler in AEW, Jade Cargill. She is also extremely tall.
She's 5'9".
Wow, and
you're taller than her.
Yeah, she looks like she's 6 foot over some of these women. You know, I guess the camera, you know, does wonders for TV. So.
Oh yeah, you have a small screen and you're gonna squish this small person in it. But yeah, she's very magnificent on TV as she is in person. But yeah, no, she's 3 inches shorter than me.
Oh, okay.
Have you trained with her at all?
Yeah, we go to the same place.
Yeah, that's why.
I want to hear more about that. If you're just joining us, like I said, and when we started the show, the sports mouth from the 313, Alex Melendrez, he's out sick today, so we hope him well and he gets better and all that good stuff. But hey, my man Pro from the Pro Wrestling Podcast helped out, co-hosting today, and we have our first official guest, Miss Reign the Stallion Rivers. And if you're on Instagram Live, jump over to Facebook. We're on Facebook Live, so you can see all of our pretty faces this morning. Miss Rivers has a ton of energy. I don't know if you caught her live this morning, but my God, I don't know how anybody wakes up with that kind of energy. She is like shot out of a cannon. So is that just you every day or what?
That's every day. And when that I got on live around like 9 in the morning, right? I woke up at 5 a.m. Okay, I've been up, so it's just a natural thing for me. Like I got energy, and if I don't get it out, then I start to kind of like, ah! So yeah, I have to find a way to the gym. Like I'm out of town right now, and like this place, like I'm really bougie, and my gym is usually everywhere except this whole bunk town. So I haven't been to the gym. And that's why I was on live freaking out, because I haven't had anything to do.
So you needed an outlet.
Pretty much.
So how did you find
That's funny, man.
With you guys, because normally I'm so busy throughout my day. Like people ask me if I'm gonna do a podcast or interview, and I usually say like yes, but not right now because I'm busy. But you hit me up, and I was like, ain't nothing there. Ain't nothing over there. Might as well see what's going on here.
Well, I do appreciate you joining us this morning. So I know you're a busy lady. So, we're not going to keep you, but hey, you can hang as long as you want. I do want to know how you found yourself at the Nightmare Factory.
So like I said, wow, Nightmare Factory. See, that's okay. When I first started, it was not the Nightmare Factory.
Okay.
It was the Power Factory. And when I originally, how I got to the Power Factory, I had to hit up, like I told you, I was looking for jobs for muscular women who could smash shit. And I had found a promotion, and it was, I can't remember the name of the promotion, but I was just like, hey, can I come work for y'all? Because I'm pretty sure I'm going to put on a good show. And he was like, well, have you been trained? I was like, nah. He was like, okay, well, go talk to this dude. And this dude turned out to be QT Marshall. And I hit him up, and this was before AEW, okay? So me and him were on the phone for like 2 hours that day when I hit him up, and he was just, I think he told me, he was like, you're out there. I was like, yeah. So I came in, he was like, come in, let's see how you do. And then he was like, okay, you can stay. So I stayed, and, I had to learn everything from scratch. Like I told you, I don't know. I had to learn everything from scratch. So it was interesting watching him like teach me things. Like I remember when a sunset flip, the first time I was wanting to do it, and I kept chickening out and not doing it. And then out of nowhere, he just fucking flipped me, and I was like, ah! And he was like, see, now it wasn't a problem. And he's a really great coach. But as far as Nightmare Factory, so this is how Nightmare Factory happened. It just, but when COVID hit, we were still Power Factory. And, we was off and all that stuff, whatever. And then when we came back to training, we were fucking AEW. I don't know what happened. All I know is that Mr. Coach Man, sir, is stealthy as hell. Okay? Because as anybody who can take something as what's a horrible word for like just destructive, just awful, just plateaued. If anybody could take something just so terrible and turn it into an empire, like seize that moment and take over everything. I was like, I came back. I was like, Mr. Coach Master, what the fuck have you been doing? Because it blew my mind. It totally blew my mind. But that's one of the reasons why I admire him so much. And not to mention that he's genuinely a good guy. And one of the things that I really, really like about him is he's honest. He'll tell you some shit that might sound fucked up, but it's true, and he'll tell you to your face. And that's how he has, I'm pretty sure, got himself in the position that he's in, because a lot of people, I think, they think to get ahead in life, they have to finagle or manipulate or whatever to get ahead. QT, if you ever talk to him, he'll be like, listen, I'm not doing any of that shit, but let me tell you what I can do. You know what I mean? He's very matter of fact and to the point, and he turned it into, you know, and you know, him with Cody, you know, they just ran with it, and I'm still there, luckily and gratefully, and I'm so thankful to be there because I'm around all this amazing talent all the time and learning in different aspects. You know, it's very encouraging, which is why I started my own promotion, because it's like, if they could do it, I can do it.
So was there like a nervousness level of meeting, like you met Cody, obviously, right? Was there like a nervousness level, or since you'd never had prior experience of wrestling or watching wrestling before, was it just like, oh, just another normal dude? Like, am I asking? Yeah.
I mean, like I know, like I found out later on that, you know, he's big and famous and all this other stuff.
Right.
But when I met him, I was just like, hey, what's up? And I just went about my business.
Yeah.
You know? But that's how it is when I've met a lot of people, actually. I didn't know who they were. And I'm just talking to them like, hey, what's going on, man? Okay. Da-da-da-da. And then I go about my business. And I think that works in my favor only because I know some people who grow up watching wrestling, they might fan out and stuff like that. And then they don't come across. That's you?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so some people can take that as a sense of like, oh, you only like me because you've seen me such and such and such. But for me, like if I'm, you know, because I don't really know anybody, and don't get me wrong, I love everybody very, very much. Everybody I've met has been respectful and dope and amazing. But because I haven't watched them growing up, I don't have this artificial attachment to them. So any interaction is true and genuine.
Okay.
So,
And I'm sure they could probably tell that by how you are reacting to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've heard. I can't say exactly the feedback that I've gotten because, I can't. But I know that I was in the room with somebody, and they were like, "She doesn't notice me."
Yeah.
Like, no, she doesn't know who you are. Like, everybody knows who I am. Like, nah, bro, she don't know who you are. So
Sure.
I thought that was pretty interesting, but yeah.
I'm sure it humbled them a little bit.
Huh?
I'm sure it humbled them a little bit.
I don't know. I have no idea, but I thought it was interesting when the story was repeated back to me. I thought it made me chuckle a bit.
So what is next for you? Sounds like Rowdy Entertainment is going to be something pretty big for you. Is that are you going to be doing that along with moving towards like a different? Are you going to work multiple promotions? I mean, nowadays it seems like everybody's just working as much as they can wherever they can. So what are you kind of seeing for yourself doing?
So ultimately, of course, if a promotion hits me up and says, "Hey, we want you to be a part of what we have going on," if I'm gonna take it, you know, you don't want to knock people off just because you're like, no, I'm better. Like, I don't feel that way. I feel as though I need to get experience. I am green. I am new. I still don't know everything, and I'm not going to pretend to. And I'm not going to pretend like somebody who's been in the business for 20 years knows less than I do. Mm-hmm. So absolutely, I will take the booking humbly. You know what I mean? But in the same time, I'm also going to put myself on, because if I don't put myself on, nobody else is gonna. At least not the way that I want to be put on. And baby, let me tell you, I'm a store. And if nobody sees that today, I'm going to show them tomorrow.
There you go. You heard it. You heard it here. So you got anything going on from now until January? I mean, are you working, or is this something you're just kind of putting all your energy into as your Rowdy Entertainment starting in January?
I have one more booking at GIPW, which is December 5th in Warner Robins. That has also been a great promotion. They've also been really great and just amazing over there. The guy who runs it, D Money, he's a really good guy. My son likes him. So, they're a really great promotion. So I have that booking with them. And then as far as anything else, right now, I'm putting my time and energy into building myself and my brand. If anybody reaches out to me and says, hey, come be a part of us too, I'm going to jump on it, But right now, I got the GIPW, I got REW, Rowdy Entertainment Wrestling. And, I'm just out here making the best possible moves for my career and my future.
That's awesome.
Yes, that is awesome. Tell us where everyone can find you online: Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube. Where are you at?
I am on Instagram at Reign The Stallion Rivers _ only one underscore, not two underscores. There's this really fake gross page out of me that has two underscores. It's not me. But so yeah, Reign The Stallion Rivers _ Instagram, and then on YouTube, Reign Rivers.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you're all over the place. Miss Reign Rivers is worldwide. And Rowdy Entertainment Wrestling starting in January. Definitely looking forward to that. Right now, the indie scene is huge. Just seems like there's just promotions everywhere, wrestlers coming out of everywhere. I mean, it's an exciting time to be a wrestling fan, in my opinion.
Yep.
So Miss Rivers, I know you're a busy woman. Do you want to hang out and talk some wrestling, or do you got to go?
I'm probably gonna get going because you know what? It's snowing outside, and I feel like it's not gonna slow down. So I should probably get the hell up out of Dodge.
Okay,
Yeah.
Sounds good. Where are you at? You said you're in a small town somewhere. Where are you?
I think Indiana, one of them states by a lake or something like that.
Right. That sounds like it. Yeah, the Midwest, there's just lakes everywhere. So
Yeah.
And it's snowing. Look, let me show you real quick. Look at this. This is not okay for me. You see the snow happening?
I mean, I just see white, but there we go. Yep. I think
so cold out here.
Yeah, Pro, he's in Chicago, so he'll tell you all about the cold weather.
Yeah, I know exactly how you're feeling, man.
You're ready to get on a plane and hop back down south, right?
What was that?
I'm heading back to training. Nightmare Factory. What?
All right.
Well, we will let you go because we don't want you to get snowed in. So
for having me.
Yes.
Yeah, it was nice talking to you.
Yeah, it was great talking to you. We look forward to seeing all the good things that you're doing with Rowdy Entertainment Wrestling. And thanks again for being our official first guest.
Thank you for having me. You guys have a great day.
Thanks, you too. Bye-bye. All right.
That was cool.
She was having a really rough connection. It's like I didn't want to interrupt her because she was telling good stuff. It was just like, oh man, she's got a bad signal, or I don't know what's going on there. But I don't know if you could hear her, but she cut out a lot. Yeah, the clip, and she cut out a lot for me. But it was cool to have her on. She's got some exciting stuff going on. Rowdy Entertainment Wrestling. Yeah, I mean, shit. Like I said, man, there's just tons of indie promotions going on right now. What do you guys got going on in Chicago?
So in Chicago, man, we got a bunch of freelance underground stuff, freelance wrestling. Those are a bunch of indie scenes that are indie promotions that are around. We got Warrior Wrestling coming up. I just went to Sweet 16 not too long ago. Bret Hart was there. That was super cool. So Warrior Wrestling is probably one of the like, it's like big. It's like a medium. I don't know. It's a well-known wrestling company. And they got names like Will Ospreay coming. They had Buddy Matthews. You name it, Trey Miguel, the X Division champion. It's a good thing. They got Zelo Pro. If you really want to go and have a good time for like $20, there's this place called Chicago Style Wrestling up in Franklin Park. I mean, there's no wrestling is like in Chicago is nonstop.
Right.
So there's no shortage.
Well, you mentioned Will Ospreay. to me, in my personal opinion, I think he's the hottest guy outside of any major wrestling organization. And I would love to see where this guy's going to land. This guy's phenomenal in the ring. What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, I mean, your thoughts are the same as mine. I think he's phenomenal, man. He's excellent. I don't know where he's going to land. I mean, obviously, there's rumors that he might jump to AEW, but who knows? Honestly, if I could say anything, I would say maybe just go to Impact. I think that would be the best bet.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see him pretty much anywhere. I don't know where he's going to show up, so it's exciting time. He just did the Jericho Cruise recently.
Yeah,
so I saw a lot of pictures and videos of him with a bunch of AEW guys. So I mean, could that be a sign
that could
of things
be a prelude.
to come? Yeah, that could be a sign of things to come. Or if Vince McMahon gets his head out of his ass, actually bring some real talent to WWE, but then might release him in 6 months. So you never know.
Yeah, they want that homegrown talent. They're not going to take a Will Ospreay.
Right. I mean, back in the day, WWE was really known for just squashing WCW talent when they came over, just kind of making an example out of them. It seems like he's kind of doing that to his own guys nowadays. So, I mean, with the releases of like Keith Lee and Karrion Kross, it's like, you're like, what? Like, how are these guys getting released? Like, it makes no sense. And, if you're watching the WWE product, it's extremely predictable. Roman Reigns is champ for 400 plus days now. In my opinion, and I think my co-host Alex shares the same opinion, I just don't see guys having the belt for that long of a period in time. I think it just doesn't make sense. I mean, that was like back in the 80s when Hogan had the belt for like 2 or 3 years, or Andre the Giant. It's like during the Raw, Attitude Era or WWE Attitude Era, guys didn't hold on to the belt for maybe 1 or 2 pay-per-views, maybe 3 at the most. Guys were constantly, switching that belt around because they had just amazing feuds going. It's like, who are you going to throw at Roman Reigns next? Well, guess what? They're probably going to lose. So it doesn't really matter who you throw
That's
at
the thing.
next.
That's
right?
the thing with that too. Yeah, that's exactly my issue with that, is that you have him win over everybody and you're firing people. Who are you going to have against him? He's going to have nobody. He's going to have nobody to.
They just made a big deal that he lost his first match in like 600 plus days when he lost by DQ on SmackDown.
No,
so technically didn't get pinned, but he didn't win a match for the first time in well over 2 years. I mean, this is shit like this that I am just totally turned off to the WWE product. It's like it's like a bad movie. You want to watch to the end to see what happens. But man, I get so tuned out. Raw is like 3 hours of it's like 2.5 hours of garbage and 30 minutes of wrestling. You know what I mean? And SmackDown, I was just reading something. The guy that used to be the manager for Jack Swagger, Dutch Mandel.
Dirty Dutchman. Yep.
Yeah. So he just did an interview totally blasting Roman Reigns. It's like saying he takes 8 minutes to get out to the ring. And his intro is so long that they actually cut to commercial while he's coming to the ring. I mean, on a 2-hour show on SmackDown, runs for 2 hours. What do you got? Like maybe 20 minutes of commercials, right? So really it's an hour and 40-minute show. And then if you take his 10-minute intro, I mean, you got 90 minutes left for everybody else. It's like,
that's the issue I had. I was on a show with Toe from the Knucklehead podcast. Shout out to him, by the way. And one of his questions was, has Roman Reigns lost steam being champion? Right. And I said yes, just based off of the repetitiveness every single week. We have him come out the first thing of the show, first time in the show. He cuts a promo, and it's so long-winded to the point where I'm just like out of it. Like, man, you talk so slow. It was cool at first. Like, I'll admit, I was behind it at first, but then he talks so slow, and then, like you said, it cuts to commercial, comes back, he's still talking, then he leaves, then they decide to do other stuff, and then he'll
backstage
come back.
segments with him, I mean.
Yeah, and then they'll come back out to the ring in the same show to close out the show, and without him wrestling, or it's just repetitiveness. It's the same shit every day. And as far as the movies go, I used this analogy before, but WWE is now, projecting their fan base towards kids. So to me now, they're like the Pixar of wrestling. So like, yeah, it's great production. You get a great story sometimes or stuff like that. It's repetitive, whatever, but they have great production. And their promos are so bad, they're for kids, but sometimes they put in a little adult joke in there where you're like, the parent, is like, oh yeah, I get that. That's for me,
Right.
Whereas AEW, it's for us. It's for people like us who love pro wrestling, 18 to 49 in that demographic. So, I'm preaching to the choir here, but.
Nah, I mean, you totally are, man. And, I know you said, I don't know how much of WWE you watched this week or just caught up on recaps or whatever, but the only thing that I think they might have going for them right now, it's hopeful and wishful thinking. So this thing with him, with Reigns and, Kofi Kingston, I think he just suffered an injury. I think he's going to be out for, who knows how long. But Xavier Woods just recently got King of the Ring, Crown Jewel, their big, WrestleMania type event in Saudi Arabia. He's King of the Ring, but Roman Reigns has got something going on with Xavier Woods. Now he's King Reigns, takes Xavier Woods. What I would like to see, I don't think it's going to happen. If they actually have set up a real long story with this and Xavier Woods beating Roman Reigns for the title at, let's say, the Rumble, because you got Survivor Series, which is in less than a couple weeks, which they haven't promoted hardly at all. And Survivor Series for years has been one of my favorite pay-per-views. It's considered one of the big four. Now they got the big five with Crown Jewel, and Survivor Series is almost kind of a joke. I don't know what's going on. They've already replaced some wrestlers that they were going to have on Team Raw, Team SmackDown. It doesn't even matter. Honestly, I might watch it, but I may be grilling or eating at the same time and tuning in and tuning out. So I don't, obviously Roman Reigns is going to face Big E at Survivor Series, champion versus champion, snooze fest. We already know who's winning there. But if they set a feud up between Xavier Woods, Roman Reigns, Xavier beating Roman Reigns, let's say at the Rumble, could be huge and could be something, if they listen to the fans, this is something that the WWE universe desperately needs. Would you agree to that?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this? Are you not big on Xavier Woods?
No, it's wishful thinking. That's for sure. But
wishful thinking. Okay.
Yeah. Like, not a bash towards you. I'm just
saying.
No.
I mean, it's sad, right? Because it's like it's wishful thinking, never going to happen. If it does, hell freezes over, right?
Right. I just don't think they would do. They don't ever listen to the fans. The only time they've listened to the fans is with Daniel Bryan, and it paid off. But other than that, if somebody's over on their own merit, they don't give a fuck. Yeah, they don't. They just do whatever. I don't like. If Xavier Woods wins the belt, like let's just say, the hell freezes over, and he ends up winning the belt.
Right.
I want him to get away from the New Day stuff. I don't like. I thought the New Day was the sole reason why Kofi's reign was so lackluster.
Right.
And if he wins the belt, and it's a big if he wins the belt, he needs to separate himself from that. He needs to be his own person. Otherwise, they're just going to put him in tag matches that don't need to be happening. You know what I mean? So,
but I think with Kofi getting hurt, I think what you're saying, maybe the writers are actually paying attention. Kofi gets hurt. They have this feud maybe with Xavier and Roman. I would love to see it and him not get squashed like everybody else in the last year. If Xavier Woods wins the belt at Royal Rumble, the biggest pay-per-view to start the year, I mean, that's a huge boost for his career. You could see so many big things for Woods feuding with some heels on SmackDown. It'd be nice for Roman Reigns to go away for a while, for quite a while. So if he loses at the Rumble, I would like to see him go away for a long time.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, yeah, like I said, and like you said, it's probably wishful thinking, but hey, if it happens, we called it here. How about that?
Yeah, that's true.
Give us credit for that, right?
Now that I think about it, it would be kind of cool to see a moment if he ended up winning to have, if Big E's still champion at this point, to have Big E come out and kind of replicate the Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit moment.
Damn, you took that thought right out of my head, man.
Yeah, I feel like that would be really cool to see because they're separated and shit like that.
Yeah, speaking of, man, yesterday was it the 16th anniversary that Eddie Guerrero passed? I can't believe he's been gone for 16 years. That's insane.
I know.
But his presence, I mean, he still makes a huge impact today, man, with superstars giving nods to Eddie Guerrero. CM Punk posted yesterday on his Instagram saying, "This is for Eddie."
Yep.
And I would love to jump back into this AEW Full Gear thing. We're dampering the mood with talking about WWE and what could be and what if and this and that. Let's jump back into AEW, man. Speaking of CM Punk, Eddie Kingston. What were your thoughts, man?
It's a contender for match of the night. I thought it was good. It was everything they said it was going to be. It was hard hitting. It was it felt like an actual fight. Like the way that Eddie was constantly flipping off CM Punk throughout the whole match, every time he did something was hilarious. It wasn't your typical, like, there was moves involved, but there wasn't your typical wrestling match. I mean,
it was a brawl.
At one point CM Punk got color, and that was really cool to see. And I don't know if you noticed that, but because Eddie Kingston and CM Punk, that promo that they had a couple nights before, there was this like similarity between how Punk talked to John Cena back in 2011, and so CM Punk rolled with that and almost teased the 5-knuckle shuffle. Like he was about to do it.
See me. Yep.
Yeah, I thought that was good. I thought that was fucking awesome. I thought that was cool. But
hey, I was gonna say, what did you think about the crowd turning on Punk?
Yeah, that was the thing I was thinking about too. It was kind of weird. It was kind of weird, to be honest. It's like I guess I don't really have much of a take on it because I don't get it.
Yeah, I didn't get it either. I was like, am I hearing the crowd turning on CM Punk? I mean, it's a little quick in his in his AEW tenure, you know what I mean? Like I didn't see that coming. I was reading some things on it this morning, but really quick, just want to plug it. If you're on Instagram Live, we got about 10 minutes on there before Instagram kicks us off because they cut us off at the hour mark. Jump on over to Facebook Live, ATW All Things Wrestling Podcast. Hey, I got a new co-host this morning, Pro from the Pro Wrestling Podcast. Man, thanks for jumping in there this morning and helping me out. It just doesn't work as a one-man show. And I was like, who the hell am I going to talk to? Who am I going to bounce shit off of? You know what I mean?
Right.
And we were lucky enough to get Reign The Stallion Rivers on this morning. She was a ball of energy. She didn't have the best signal where she was at. And I don't know if she was getting some snow. I think you guys are getting some snow in Chicago, right?
Yeah, we're getting some. Yeah, it's cold out here, man. Oh God.
I don't miss that Midwest winter. I tell you that, man. I did enough of that in my lifetime. I'm in northern Arizona, a beautiful 65 degrees today. It's cold. It's cold in the morning.
Rub it in.
I'm in the mountains, so we get plenty of snow. But lived down in the valley, Metro Phoenix for years, the desert, which is like the 10th level of hell. If you've ever been to Phoenix, and my man Pro from Pro Wrestling Podcast, actually, him and I lived in the same city, which is pretty crazy. Small world, as they say, right? So let's jump back into this AEW Full Gear, man. The Eddie Kingston CM Punk match was just a straight out brawl. Yeah. I mean, it was awesome. And like you said, maybe match of the night. There's so much to say here about Full Gear. AEW knows how to put on a fucking pay-per-view. And I love that they don't do one every month. They do it every few months.
I
So
was
it
telling
makes
somebody.
it makes you want to really tune in. WWE does one every month like clockwork. And you're like, yeah, I guess I'll watch it. Oh, yeah, I'll put it on. What the hell? I pay the $9.99 a month for fucking Peacock, which, by the way, is fucking horrible compared to the WWE network when you could search and find basically anything you want. Now you can't. This is like the worst fucking streaming service I've ever seen. And it looks like you got a take on it. So let me hear it.
No. I was just saying we're going off a tangent here. We need to get right back to AEW.
All right. Yeah. Bring me back, man. Bring me back.
Positive vibes here, man.
Yeah, positive vibes. Positive vibes. Let's go back to AEW Full Gear. Eddie Kingston, CM Punk, hell of a match, a real brawl. But where's CM Punk going next? Where do you think CM Punk? Who's he got his eyes on, and who's got his eyes on Punk?
That's a good question. Anything's possible now. Now with this, like the crowd booing him, are they going to play along with that? Are they going to book him to become a heel? I
Please
wasn't there.
No straight edge Punk though.
No. I I wasn't there, but depending on what tunnel he left in or left out of, we could see possibly. I've always said I wanted to see him do something with Team Taz.
Okay.
Yeah, just because
they had the match with him and Powerhouse Hobbs.
I mean joining.
Joining Team Taz.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that one.
Become a heel there. It'd be interesting.
What would be the motivation for him to join Team Taz? Come on, man. You're writing the story. How does he end up joining Team Taz?
I would like the matches between him and Powerhouse Hobbs was kind of like a recruit, like to see what Punk still has it to join Team Taz. Plus Taz and CM Punk have a lot of history together.
Right.
And I mean, I don't know. I could see him. I feel like in order for Punk, for me anyway, to be in a heel in AEW now, he would have to be on a team. And I don't know. I don't know how you would coordinate that.
Right.
Because I'm not a booker. I'm a podcaster.
Right.
But
we're all super fans, man. So we write this shit in our heads all the time, right?
Yeah. I'm sure I will come up with an idea after I get off the air here, and I'm going to be like, damn it, that's what I should have said. But as of right now, I have no idea how you would book it. I just kind of hope they go along. Like, heel Punk is just as good as humble Punk.
Oh, yeah.
So anything's money with him. So we'll see where they do it with him. I mean, how do you feel? What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know about the Team Taz thing. Heel Punk for sure. He comes out on Wednesday night, is pissed off because the fans were booing him. He could go off on his tangent and say, hey, I came here to AEW, blah, 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 and this is how you guys do me. Some shit where he just tears the fans apart, which would be extremely entertaining because nobody can cut a promo like Punk. Right. Last week, the promo that he cut, him and Eddie Kingston, I mean, that was gold. Mm-hmm. If anyone had any question if Punk still got it, I think he answered it last night. I mean, he can go. He can brawl. He can wrestle. He's entertaining on the mic. I mean, he proved that this 7 years off, he may be looking a little sluggish during some of these matches, but he still got it, man. He still got it.
And nothing to take away from Eddie. Eddie is amazing.
Eddie Kingston. Hell yeah. I was not, to be honest with you, I've been watching AEW since it started. Not been real big on Eddie Kingston, to be honest with you. I know they had the thing with Moxley and this and that, but Eddie Kingston definitely showed this dude can go and he can brawl. Obviously he's not a Bryan Danielson in the ring. And if you listen to the AEW podcast, we're big marks for Bryan Danielson.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man, let's jump right into MJF and Darby Allin.
Okay. I don't have much of a take on this because I got bits and pieces of it. Life was happening in between me watching that match. So, from what I saw, really it started from what I saw, which was the beginning. It started off slow, which I like. You know, you got to pace yourself.
Right.
But man, Darby Allin will put himself through hell. He doesn't care.
Yeah, that dude, Darby Allin, I mean, you know, he's 180 pounds soaking wet, but that guy,
Same
he
size
can
as
go.
me.
He can go. He can go. As far as MJF goes, though, MJF hands down has to be one of my favorite guys in AEW. And for a guy that hardly wrestles, makes a huge impact.
Yeah.
You know, that's something that's rarely talked about. Like, this dude barely wrestles, but he stays at the top of topics. People are talking about guys in AEW. I don't know where I see it going. I don't, you know, obviously Bryan Danielson, you know, we could jump into the Bryan Danielson Miro match. Didn't know how those guys were going to match up. But Bryan Danielson in the ring with anybody is always going to be, to me, it's going to be gold. You know what I mean? Bryan Danielson, go ahead.
No, I will say, prior to the MJF Darby Allin match, I did not know. That's what's the beauty of AEW too. I did not know who was going to win because you just had MJF lose at the last pay-per-view against Chris Jericho, right? So he's still trying to build momentum off of that. And same with Darby Allin. He lost against CM Punk in the last pay-per-view. So he's still trying to build momentum again off of that, which I feel like both of them in some way, somewhat fashion has. I didn't really like the MJF Brian Pillman Jr. match.
No, that was kind of wasn't real big. And where the hell did Brian Pillman go?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
But anyways, back to that MJF Darby Allin.
But yeah,
where do we see MJF and Darby Allin? Where are they going next?
I don't know, man. That's the thing. Like, what you have so many other people to focus on. I just don't see, because obviously Darby's not going to go for the championship anytime soon because, as we know from watching Full Gear, somebody else is challenging for the TNT champion. We'll probably go into that later. And as far as MJF goes, MJF could go. Honestly, MJF can go up with anybody. He's that type of guy. All he has to do is get up on stage, talk some shit, and you got a match right there.
Right. I got the Atlanta Thrasher who's commenting on us right now on Facebook. He said Pillman was outside of the ring on Rampage for the Lumberjack match between Orange Cassidy and Matt Hardy. So, hey, there you go. Where the hell is Brian Pillman Jr.? That's exactly where he was at. So we got somebody to help us out because I didn't know where he was at. I didn't spot him, but there you go. AEW is so stacked, and you hear about all these talents. Where they're going to go? You know, The Fiend, you know, former WWE superstar, The Fiend, now Wyndham Rotunda. Yeah. Is he going to show up on Full Gear? I think that was everyone's like, is he going to show up? Is he going to show up? Where the hell is he going to show up? Former WWE superstar Braun Strowman, now going by the Titan, Adam Shearer, his real name. He kind of really already said, hey, I'm not going to be anywhere this year. He's going to do some type of event, I think, in Minneapolis in December. And I think he's not showing up till next year somewhere. And then you got all these other talents that were just released from WWE, Karrion Kross, Keith Lee, too many guys to name. Are they going to go to Impact? Are they going to go to AEW? They're going to show up, MLW, which is where Enzo just showed up. And it's like, man, there's just so much talent out there. Where the hell are all these guys going to go? They can't all fit in AEW.
No. That's what I was thinking too. Is AEW is going to get a. I'm pretty sure they're going to pick up some people, but AEW has been based entirely off of no-name indie guys that nobody's ever heard of before, and they basically built that on that, like the 4 pillars MJF was talking about. For everything that he has said, that one thing that he said about the pillars is exactly right. If you bring in more people like ex-WWE guys, stuff like that, I feel like you're just going to overshadow those people who I want to see have more of a spotlight on them. Like, I really like Kip Sabian, and I know he's been hurt for a little bit, but I want his return to mean something. If other people show up on the show, I feel like it's just going to be, everybody's going to be like, yeah, whatever. And that's the same thing I was saying before on another podcast, is that the same would go for Darius Martin they got Top Flight to get back together. I don't think anybody would care.
Right.
But
Well,
that's just
speaking of guys out, you talked about Kip Sabian. Lance Archer, it was just revealed he definitely is out with the concussion. And if you caught it a few weeks ago, took that nasty bump on his head,
yeah.
doing a moonsault. Did you see that? Did you see it
I
live?
did.
Man,
Yeah.
that was brutal. Do you
Yeah.
think it would have ended up being Archer versus Danielson? If Miro, if they didn't bring him in, do you think that's maybe where they were going to go? I think the Lance Archer Bryan Danielson match would have probably been a hell of a match.
I think it would have too. I don't know if that was like improvised or not. You know, that's actually a good question. Like, I don't know if Eddie winning was improvised. I thought maybe it was like already been the books, but I did notice that it could have been a lot fucking worse for Lance Archer if
Right.
he didn't land the way that he landed. Because if you saw it in slow motion, his fists were actually up above his head before he
Right.
landed, and then his head went down in that
Yeah.
motion. If he would have just kept it like this
Yeah.
and had his neck compressed like, oh man, it would have been over. It would have been over for
It was
him.
nasty. It was nasty to see it live. Hey, AG or IG, Instagram Live, jump over to Facebook. We're ending right now. Join us over on ATW Podcast for Life on Facebook. All right, our Instagram is over. So, hey, let's talk about Bryan Danielson.
Let's do it.
Bryan over Miro at Full Gear. Looks like he's moving on to take on Hangman Page. I mean, you got two baby faces that are going to be going head to head, and unlike WWE where that never happens, you know what I mean? In AEW, we might see two baby faces going head to head. Do you think they build this up towards their next pay-per-view, or do you think we're going to see it sometime soon? I mean, it's like, man, I want to see it on Dynamite next week, but obviously they got to have a little bit of build-up, right? What are your thoughts on this? How do you see this going with these two guys?
Well, first off, I'm gonna be honest. I kind of wanted Miro to win. I don't feel like somebody as good as Bryan Danielson, who's had a career that he's had over the years, needs to be in a number one contendership for a championship. But nonetheless, it happened. I like it. I'm just surprised that they did it with Hangman and not with Kenny, because I know they were teasing like a round or a part 2 of a Kenny versus Danielson.
Which
but
I would see any day of the week.
Right. But then again, you don't need it. He doesn't need a championship for that. But I'm a little curious, man, because I don't think I've ever seen even back in the indie days a Bryan Danielson versus a Hangman. So, and they both put on great matches. So that's going to be good. Obviously, I would like to see it happen sooner rather than later, like you said.
Right.
But I mean, as far as who I would want to win, obviously, I would have to go with Hangman. He just got it. I mean, what about you?
Well, if you listen to this show, you know I'm a huge Bryan Danielson fan. We both are. We my co-host and I were huge on Bryan Danielson. I want to see him win the belt, but then again, Hangman Page just got it. But if they really milk this thing all the way to the next pay-per-view, then maybe Hangman gives it up. I mean, I don't know. I would really, man, this is a toss-up. I would have loved to have seen Omega and Bryan for the belt, and then Bryan gets the belt off Omega. But I know with Hangman coming back and this and that, and just they talked about the whole when Omega beat Hangman, for the belt. I mean, it's just I don't know. I don't know where the hell I want this to go. I know I want to see him wrestle, but maybe Bryan doesn't get the belt just yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. He don't get me wrong, man. I love Bryan Danielson. I'm right up there with you guys as far as one hell of a talent. I just don't see him. He's so talented to me though that I think like putting a belt on him is just not needed. I don't know. It's like that. I don't know. This is my take on it.
Yeah, it's like they say, some guys need the belt to make them, and other guys make the belt.
Yeah.
Bryan Danielson has done so much, and he's won all the belts. And going back to WWE, I totally get what you're saying there, but I also don't see him being like CM Punk. Where when they brought Punk in, obviously the guy hasn't wrestled for 7 years. He can't go after the title because that just doesn't make any sense, right? But Bryan Danielson goes from main eventing WrestleMania this year to then showing up on AEW. It only makes sense for him to get into the title mix. He really doesn't have to prove himself. In my opinion, he doesn't need to prove himself that he deserves a title shot or can be in the title mix. But now with Paige having the belt, I don't know. Do you see the Dark Order maybe kind of going more heel and Paige becoming maybe more heel? That could be a possibility. I mean, you never know.
The thing is, we had a heel champion for over a year now.
Right.
I would hate to see another heel champion personally. It'd be nice just to have a face behind the belt.
Right.
With as far as Dark Order going back and becoming, I don't know. Do you think it's like kind of too late for them? They're already established as this goofy faction. I mean, maybe they can change, but I just don't see. They're so over as a babyface. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, I mean, you got a good point there. And I don't really want to see heel Bryan Danielson.
Right.
So, yeah, I hated that when they did that in WWE. And he's too over, I think, to become a heel in AEW. So I don't know. This is going to be interesting. That's what's great about being a fan.
If Bryan Danielson wins, will he turn the AEW belt into an eco-friendly one?
made from a tree?
Yeah, made from the tree.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? But it's exciting, man. It's an exciting time. I can't wait to see what they do. I can't wait for Dynamite. It's like Monday Night Raw, SmackDown. I don't ever say I can't wait for that. It's like because I know what the hell they're gonna do. And going up to Survivor Series right now, it's like they're just killing time. So I guess maybe tune into Survivor Series to see anything exciting happens. There was a big rumor that The Rock was going to show up and this and that, and maybe challenge Reigns. It's like all these fanboys out there for Roman Reigns and The Rock. They want to see that garbage. I don't want to see that. I don't ever want to see The Rock show up and go for the title. Like that just makes zero sense.
Yeah. But I mean, who else is going to beat Roman at the end of the day? But I mean, otherwise we got King Xavier, but
right.
Nonetheless, so Bryan Danielson versus Hangman.
Yep. Can't wait
for it. Should be good.
Exactly. So what do you think about the TNT the TBS women's title?
What I think about it when it got I like it.
Do you like that they're having an additional belt just for the women, for TBS, because they're moving networks in January, right? Dynamite's going to TBS. Rampage is staying on TNT, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah. No, I like the belt. It does. I mean, a lot of people have said it looks exactly like the TNT belt, which it does.
Yeah.
But I do like the fact that the women have a secondary belt that they can go after. And the thing is with like the same as the TNT belt, it's an open challenge belt. So anybody could show up at any moment and challenge for that belt. And it's really cool. I like the tournament thing too. It's a hell of a lot better than the Queen's Crown.
You mean the 2-minute matches?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
2-minute matches.
That was ridiculous. There was a whole thing I was reading. They were talking about the King's tournament, King of the Ring, and then they introduced the Queen's, Queen of the Crown or whatever the hell. You can't keep all these names straight, but it's like the men were getting triple the time for matches versus the women. They were just like, get them in and get them out. Like I didn't understand it. I didn't get it. To be honest with you, I think that might have been the only high point or one of the high points at Crown Jewel, which was Selena Vega and Doudrop. I don't know if you caught the sunset flip, but that was insane on how she won. But it was a good match for what it was, quick and painless, I guess. But yeah, I mean the WWE women's division, I mean that's a whole other can of worms. You got this Charlotte Flair thing going on. Is she going to leave WWE? Is she trying to get fired? Just real quick, we'll touch on that. I just want to hear your thoughts on it.
Oh, with Charlotte?
Yeah, Charlotte, her and Becky Lynch having some real heat outside the ring, just talking mad trash on each other.
Mm-hmm. Here's the thing. I do like this whole thing coming up leading up to Survivor Series.
Right.
I think it's kind of it's interesting because like Charlotte Flair, I don't think she should leave. I don't think she should go to AEW. And if she does, there's going to be a lot. Like I don't know if she's got like Tessa Blanchard heat, but I think it's pretty close as far as her being like stuck up and shit like that. At least that's the perception everybody has of her.
Or is she just that good of being a heel?
I think that's what I think too. I think she's just that good. I think people read into things a lot, like
Right.
way too much. And as far as like Becky Lynch being the hero of the locker room,
Right.
I don't know about that either because that's just based off of, what?
It just seems like they're building a really good story and maybe taking bits and pieces of what could be real and just adding fuel to the fire. Bubba Ray Dudley, now Bully Ray, just had an interesting take on this whole Charlotte Flair thing because people saying backstage that she's difficult to work with, nobody wants to work with her, blah, 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 this and that. And Bully Ray said, you mean like how every other major men's superstar does? Like, hey, I want it this way. I want total control of my character. He's saying because she's a woman, they're saying she's difficult. But when a guy's doing it, they're not saying they're difficult to work with. It's just the guy standing up for his character. I mean, we know for a fact that Stone Cold didn't want a job to certain wrestlers and Lesnar didn't want a job to certain wrestlers. And like all these guys over the years, hey, I don't want to lose to this guy, or I want to lose to this guy. So it's like Charlotte Flair just kind of standing up for her character and, her as a wrestler. I mean, that's what she should be doing, right?
Yeah. And apparently I thought I saw a rumor that originally she didn't want to do that whole belt exchange, which I think is fucking stupid. And I'm sure she thought it was stupid as well.
Right.
She didn't want to do that whole belt exchange. She wanted to drop it to Bianca.
Yeah, I had read that rumor too.
Yeah. And I thought that would have been perfect because, I mean, if they were going to do what they were going to do, which was have Becky stand there with the two belts and go like this with it, it's like, why? It's stupid. And do that Becky 2 belt shit again. Yeah, I don't know. That would have been a lot better than what we got, is if she would have dropped it, because she never should have lost it in the first place.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm personally a huge fan of Charlotte Flair. I think she's phenomenal. She's a phenomenal athlete. She's a tremendous heel. You mean, if you want to know what the true definition of a heel is, you just got to watch Charlotte Flair, right? Becky Lynch, they need to stop giving her the mic. She's awful on the microphone.
Oh, she's so bad, dude.
She needs some major improvements on her mic skills. She's phenomenal in the ring. She can be entertaining at times, but the mic skills, not everyone's blessed with the mic skills. But anyways, well, interesting to see what happens after Survivor Series, kind of where they go building to the Royal Rumble. I don't even know what pay-per-view they have in December. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Well, they canceled it. I know they canceled TLC because that was supposed to happen over here.
Oh, okay. So maybe that was the December one, and that they're just going to kind of roll straight into Royal Rumble, which I mean, that's always one of my favorite pay-per-views. I always look forward to the Rumble. You never know who's going to show up. It's kind of the lead up to WrestleMania. So let's see if they can turn things around, man. Like you said, it could just all be wishful thinking.
Yeah. They do have that one pay-per-view coming up in January. Forgot what it's called. It's like first night or first day or one night, something like that. Oh,
is it a New Year's Eve thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe that's why they're not announcing another one in December. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? But anyways, AEW, Full Gear, jam-packed show. Can't wait for Dynamite, Rampage. Do you know the reason why they're kind of some Rampages are live and then other ones they're recording them? I couldn't catch why they're doing it. They're kind of flip-flopping back and forth. Like, I don't understand what's going on with that.
No, I don't know either, but I can say that a live Rampage is 100% a lot better than a pre-recorded one.
Right.
Because the fans aren't tired. Like
Yeah, that's a lot of wrestling, man.
Yeah, I know from experience. Like, you've probably been to an event before too.
Oh yeah.
You get fatigued real easily, especially if there was a match that was really good before everything. You're just like, oh man, it's hard to get into this, but I'm gonna try.
I've been to 4 WrestleManias, and when you want to talk about a long ass show,
Oh yeah,
you're exhausted. And I was like, shit, I didn't even wrestle, man. I'm tired.
yeah, exactly. You feel like you wrestled. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think the formula with Dynamite being a 2-hour show and Rampage being a 1-hour show, I wouldn't mind seeing Rampage being a 2-hour show, but man, that 2-hour mark, it's like Dynamite goes by in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
And so it's like I think that's kind of a perfect formula for, a 2-hour wrestling show. That's great.
Because they say time flies when you're having fun.
Right? I could tell you a 3-hour Raw can sometimes feel like 8 hours.
Exactly.
But hey, man, I want to thank you a lot for joining me today on the ATW All Things Wrestling podcast, filling in for my co-host, the sports mouth of the 313, which is just 4-hour drive from Chi-Town there in Chicago, man.
Yep.
So yeah, I really appreciate you jumping on. Would love to have you on as a guest, maybe next week or in a couple weeks.
Oh, that'd be awesome, man.
Tell everybody where they can find you.
All right. So I'm on Instagram. You can find me at The Pro Wrestling Podcast. I post all stuff every day, usually news, memes, videos, whatever your heart desires. If you like wrestling stuff, I obviously post it. YouTube, you can find me on YouTube. I just recently had a interview with Xenia from Xenia Did That. She's a well-renowned interviewer that wrestles that interviews wrestlers. Okay. And I kind of got her background and how she prepares herself for interviews. So that was really nice. I have one coming up here pretty soon. I'm not going to spoil it yet, but it's a pretty big interview. So I'm going to prepare myself for that. So stay tuned.
You got to tease everybody with just a little bit, man. Just a little bit of a tease.
All right.
You don't have to say it. Just
all I'll say is he's in NWA.
Okay.
I'll say that. I'll leave it with that.
There you go. I think that's enough. That's enough of a teaser.
Yeah. And with Twitter, you can find me at the PW Pod. Give me a follow there. And yeah, just stay tuned for the next episode. I basically do interviews and stuff like that. And awesome. This Saturday, or today actually, later on, I'm going live with Bet the House podcast. Okay. And we're gonna give our review about Full Gear because he was actually there. So
nice. Oh, I gotta tune in. I gotta hear that.
Yeah. So
I can't wait to go to an AEW show, man. They gotta come out west. I don't know, whenever they do, I'm gonna be there.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. I was there for when Punk returned.
Oh man, how was that? How was that live?
Energy was amazing. I couldn't hear by the end of the night. It was like being at a concert.
That's so cool. I watched it on pay-per-view, and that was an amazing show, man. AEW does not disappoint when it comes to a pay-per-view. It is stacked from start to finish. You don't want to miss a minute. So yeah, I
apologize that we got misdirected a little bit there. We almost didn't cover all of Full Gear because it's so easy to bash fucking WWE. But
and I just want to make it clear. I've been a longtime WWE fan, and there's been periods over the years where it's just at a down spot, and you're just like, fuck, I just wanted, and then they can make it great again. But we'll see. I think hopefully with AEW really just kind of bringing the heat, WWE steps up their game a little bit, or they just keep on trucking, whatever they decide they want to do. But no, yeah, I definitely don't want to seem like it's bashing WWE for sure. But hey, man, we'll definitely check you out. Thanks again for joining us. Thanks again to our first official guest, Reign The Stallion Rivers. Go check her out. And we're ATW All Things Wrestling Podcast. Join us again next Sunday, 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern. I am your host, Tony Twist. You can find me on Instagram at ATW_Tony_Twist. Look for my man, the Pro from Pro Wrestling Podcast. And we're out of here.
All right. Have a good one.
You too, man.